Oof, what can you say about that? As promised, as I've been saying all week, I've been talking about, the Bhoycie Bus will have a show every single night this week, and I did say at the start of the week, I'll still do P.M.P regardless, and here we are. Roll up the old sleeves and just get on with it, because yes, Germany 5, Scotland 1 in the opening game of the Euros. So yes, tonight, obviously, you can see Johnny has jumped on with me first time in a wee while. It's good to see you, Johnny. Thanks for coming on, my man. Thank you very much.
It's all right. I thought I'd come on and help you out. I don't know whether it's just going to be me and you chatting to each other on YouTube, or whether anybody else is going to be joining us or not after that that debacle. But it's, it is what it is. I thought I'd jump on and help a mate out,
No, that's fine. I appreciate that, because at the end of the day, so tonight, I think, what we'll talk about the game it'll be more a bit of perspective, really, because I think you and I have got a very similar opinion about things, how that went tonight and how things are going forward for the next 2 games for Scotland in this group. And we'll get into that rather than going, through every single bit of the game and whatnot, because there isn't much really to talk about from a Scotland point of view. But we'll touch on some main points, because there were a few moments where we could definitely home in on. But we will. First and foremost, before we do all that, I'll just remind everybody to try and do all that good stuff, even though I imagine the mood is pretty somber tonight. But if you can do all that good stuff and help us out massively on the channel, that'd be great. So obviously hit the like button. Hey, hit the dislike button if you like as well, because at the end of the day, YouTube obviously likes a active channel. That's the priority for them. Obviously, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. You want to keep the bus in your life that little bit longer, then obviously do that. Hit that bell notification, and we're on the road. And we're on the road quite a lot. As I say, this week, we've had a show every single night: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And actually, we're looking at maybe doing the same again next week, because we're doing this Scotland Euros content as well. So it's a busy time right now. Who said pre-season was a dry time for content? There you go. We're churning it out left, right, and centre. And obviously, share the link of the Bhoycie Bus far and wide on whatever social media platform is your poison. And you can head over to piesports.com. The logo is up in that corner, I believe. I always get it wrong when I try to point to it. Use that code BUS 1888 and get 12.5% off of your order. So Euro 2024 is now kicked off. The first game is in the books. Scotland. Yep, the eyes of the world were watching, Johnny, and it wasn't obviously the performance we wanted. But let's obviously be real here. Did we really expect that Scotland were going to win? I said on Monday night, at best, if all the stars align and we dig in and we get a bit of luck, then maybe, just maybe, we can grind out a draw. But my God, a lot had to go away. But from the very first minute, I just felt like nothing was going to go away. I think I used the comparison when I was talking to Michael and Liam on Monday night about Celtic in Europe. I've seen a few people on Twitter using that as well, saying it was like watching Celtic in Europe. There was a lot of tropes tonight that I could say I've lived this before. I've read this chapter before, and I felt right away, as I said the other night, I feel that I am looking at the clock most of the time when I'm watching Celtic in Europe away from home, and when I'm watching Scotland on a night like tonight, where you divide the game into 10-minute blocks. And by the 9th minute, I think it was in the 9th minute, just about to touch 10, that's when they went 1-0 up. And I think they got their second goal in the 19th minute. So the first 2 10-minute blocks already, it has just gone completely out the window. But did you have that similar vibe watching it? Did you feel like, I've seen this before enough times in my Celtic supporting life?
Well, to continue your opening statement there, Phil, you said that the eyes of the world were watching and the eyes of Scotland were watching like that.
Yes.
Behind their eyes. I didn't expect anything from today's game, and in all honesty, the result has really changed nothing of Scotland's target, if you like. But to let you know how it was, how I felt about the game was going to go. I was walking through King's Cross Station this afternoon and got stopped by one of these guys who do the charity, try to sign up for charity things, and it was an Alzheimer's lad, really nice lad. I stood and chatted to him for 10 minutes, and when he found out I was from Scotland, although living down south, he said, "Do you reckon you win today?" I went, "Not a chance." He said, "I don't know." He said, He said, I've got a tenner on you. I said, tenner. He said, to win 2-1. I said, you should have come and seen me. I'd have given you 500 to 1 for that.
He's just wasted a tenner there. Yeah, that was
yeah,
a crazy bet.
As well giving it to me. But no, I didn't have any great expectations of it. Scotland's Euros starts in our next game. Who is it we're playing next? Is it Hungary or Switzerland?
We play Switzerland next on Wednesday night and Hungary.
I don't know much. I don't know about Switzerland, but I'm actually glad it's Switzerland rather than Hungary, if I'm being honest. But what I said to you on the group chat, again, to go back to what you were saying about Celtic and Europe, I think I put it in the group chat. I hope Brendan's on the phone to that board saying, if you don't back me, this is us next season in the Champions League, by the way. We will be getting that in 8 games. So you better back me unless you want to be Scotland Mark 2. So that's how I felt about it. And it was just... And it's the first time... I think I'll also put in our group chat, I'm 62 now, well, nearly 62. And in every major championship Germany have played in my lifetime and certainly my living memory, they started off crap until they play us.
Of course.
And then they come out the traps like a greyhound, But
yeah.
But I know Germany have had a tough time in the last 2 major tournaments, haven't they? They didn't even qualify for the final stages.
They get knocked out. They get knocked out in the group stages of the World Cup in 2018 and 2022, and they get eliminated pretty poorly by England at Euro 2021 in the second round. So they've not had the best of time in the last couple of years, but they were light years better than us. I mean, I know Scotland we can say about how poor we did play, and yes, we were. I mean, we didn't exactly cause any sort of problems for them. Didn't even muster a shot on target because our goal will officially go down as an own goal because it was. It's not a shot on target. So it doesn't go down as a shot on target.
It was going nowhere near the goals until it took the deflection.
Yeah, exactly. So that sums up Scotland's night.
But what I was going to say was, although the Germans have had a bad few tournaments, they are starting to come back to something like what you would expect. I mean, they've got a player of this quality of Leroy Sané on the bench, and you compare that to what we've got starting, it's just light years ahead. We've got guys who are playing for Watford. We've got a guy who's playing out in Saudi, who we weren't happy with when he played at Celtic. And apparently he's been a better player since he went out to Belgium and then off to Saudi. But what are you expecting against a team of that quality in Germany?
Yeah, I mean, that boy Musiala and Florian Wirtz in particular, I mean, they were fantastic. Florian Wirtz has just had the season of his life with Bayer Leverkusen. That team has had the season of their life. Yeah. And Jamal Musiala is a phenomenal talent at Bayern Munich. But yeah, we didn't even lay a glove, no shots on target, nothing. But yeah, let's just try and get a sense of perspective first and foremost. And I'll quickly address one question in the comments from Smell the Glove. Does Phil still want Angus Gunn our new keeper? I reserve the right to change my opinion on that, although I could sit here and go, well, I mean, the defence in front didn't help him, but the first goal in particular, he didn't help himself. I thought he'd get quite a strong hand on it and still couldn't keep it out. I know I've just talked up Florian Wirtz there. It was a decent effort, but the boy gets enough of a hand behind it and he still couldn't stop it going in. So, yeah, and I think it was the one that got disallowed for offside, the fifth one, where again, I think it was Füllkrug from close range and he hits it and Gunn palms it up in the air and it still dips down and Füllkrug taps it in the net. It did get disallowed in the end, but yeah, he didn't have the best of times tonight. But hey, that's why I'm just a fan sitting. I'm not the head of recruitment at Celtic. I'm not a chief scout. But
that's why you're not earning 60 grand a week to make these kind of decisions, mate. But yeah, funnily enough, Smell the Glove. I was sitting thinking much the same thing as we watched the game. Not specifically Phil, to be fair, but I was just thinking, his name's not been. I don't think he's been mentioned in the press. I think he's just been mentioned by us, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, and to be honest with you, I never watched Norwich games, and I've not seen too much of Gunn playing for Scotland, if I'm being honest. Yeah. And I just thought, well, maybe not. But having said that, every goalkeeper has a bad day.
Yeah.
So I was, I think I might be a little bit concerned if Brian Gunn was standing with a Celtic goalkeeper's top on and a scarf over his head, sometime towards the middle of July. That would worry me, I think. But then again, he might change it all again in the next week.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
we shall see. We shall see.
Oh, just I'm not saying that you were having a go at me, but I did see the question right away, spell the golf. But I thought I'll just address it. To be fair, I think a lot of Celtic fans have been calling out for him, but again, it could be something. I know Marc Cairney uses this a lot, talk about lazy links. Oh, he's the Scotland #1 keeper. We're a Scottish team. Oh, it seems quite feasible. Because to me, in my head, I was like, I think he seems pretty decent. But again, you've got also accommodate for also playing Germany. But anyway, let's try and take a look at just some of the incidents in the game. Oh no, in fact, first and foremost, I was going to go on to perspective. Before the game kicked off, obviously, as I say, most of us were not that. I know there was a lot of bravado, and if you saw the interviews on TV, all the fans that were there going into the stadium and all that, all the fans in the streets of Munich, naturally they're going to be like, yeah, we're going to do it, and all that. But I think realistically, if you read the room essentially online and whatnot, most fans are like, look, we might get a draw at very best here, but to win, who knows? But the goal for Stevie Clark going out there would have been 4 points, would have been the target. I've said in the couple of Euro shows that we've done so far, the way the dynamic works with this European Championships, because it's now 24 teams, it's 4 of the 6 third place teams will go through. Now, 3 points can get you through, but I think tonight 3 points is now no longer an option because goal difference will now come into the equation. We've had an absolute doing. I know Portugal got through in 2016 with 3 points and went on to win the whole tournament, but they drew all 3 of their games, so their goal difference was 0. But the difference is we've now took a thumping, so we cannot go through with 3 points. If we were to still beat Switzerland, say, and then lose to Hungary, and we're not going to get through, our goal difference is going to be terrible. So it's now 4 points or bust at the very, very minimum. Because that will take you through. It's very, very, very unlikely. It could be the most Scotland thing possible, Johnny. We've been there before with Scotland. That they could finish on 4 points and still somehow not qualify. That could actually happen to them.
Argentina 78 springs to mind there, Phil.
Yeah, something like that could happen. But yeah, from Steve Clark's point of view tonight, obviously they'll be hurting, and naturally there's a lot for them to take away from that and what they can try and change for the next game. But I think his message to the players will be that we've got the proverbial free hit out the way first. I'd much rather we played them in the first game than played them in the last game. Because imagine we still needed to get something in this group and we're playing Germany in the last game. And that's how we phoned it in, So at least we've got it out of the way now. We now go up against Switzerland. And I agree with you. I think out of the 2 teams we've got left to play, Switzerland are the one that I'd fancy our chances more against. Not that I'm saying that Switzerland are terrible. But when you look at what we beat in the qualifying, I think Norway are a better team than Switzerland. Norway have got 2 players right away in their squad that are better than anything in Switzerland's squad, Odegaard and Erling Haaland, and we were able to beat them. So to me, I think Switzerland are always a consistent team at tournaments. They always seem to do well without having any major superstars, and they will be tough. But I think now that the free hits out the way, just it's all guns blazing now for the Switzerland game. And yeah, we've just that's it. We've just nothing we can do now. Steve Clark will just need to say to them, it's gone now, it's done. We just need to concentrate on Switzerland now and making sure that we do everything right in that game, because we couldn't have done much more wrong tonight, Johnny.
We could have gone wrong tonight. It did go wrong, and I'm like you, and I think we spoke about it before we went live, that without knowing too much about Switzerland, I'm glad we've got Switzerland in the next game, because Hungary are a decent team. You don't, as we spoke about before we came on, you don't come over to England and beat England 4-0 if you're not a decent team. And they are a decent team. They've got some good players. I don't think they've got any superstars.
Yep.
But you don't need superstars to be a good team.
Yep.
So I'm kind of glad we've got Switzerland, and we'll find out on what day do we play Switzerland?
Wednesday night we play them, and we play Hungary next Sunday. That's the last of our group games is next Sunday.
So we'll find out on Wednesday whether our, I wouldn't go as far as to say optimism, but our belief, if you like, in the fact that Switzerland on Wednesday, we'll find out on Wednesday whether that's carries any weight.
Yeah. What we need, when we're talking about perspective and how things have changed, what we need now is tomorrow, we need Switzerland and Hungary probably to draw in their game. I would say we need a draw rather than an outright winner there, because that will really put us on the back foot. So ideally, we would need a draw between Switzerland and Hungary tomorrow just to keep it a bit close there, because Germany will go on and win this group. But I say
if you had to pick a winner tomorrow, who would you want to win, Hungary or Switzerland?
Probably Hungary, because we're playing Switzerland next, so you'd want Switzerland to be within touching distance. So yeah, that would probably be the best one. Although Graham Tyrrell's coming in saying Switzerland will beat the Hungarians. Interesting. So Hungary, as far as I know, haven't lost a competitive game since 2022, a Nations League game to Italy. I know they lost a friendly the other night to Adam Ida-inspired Ireland team. They did. Ireland beat them in a friendly. Yeah, but they beat England in a Nations League game in 2022. They beat them a 4-0 at Molineux. The game got played there. So it's no mean feat to go to England and beat them 4-0 on their own turf. I know it wasn't Wembley, but still. So they're going to be a decent mob, that the Hungarian team. They are the team that many people are tipping as dark horses, but there's always a team going into a tournament that loads of people say. I remember it was Austria in 2016. They finished with no points. Turkey was Euro 2020's dark horse, and they finished with no points. So I'm hoping that Hungary end up being that, and we can actually get something. But yeah, as I say, from up next, obviously, we'll obviously be going into the Switzerland game. And obviously, when we get closer to that, I'll do another show in the build-up to that to sort of preview it and look at Switzerland. Because we've seen Switzerland play, we'll get an idea of who the men are to look out for. But let's talk about some of the guys for us tonight and what we can pick out of that performance, if you want to call it that. I think tonight, the first thing that stood out to me was, and it's something that I highlighted in one of the preview shows I did last week, was how big a miss Lyndon Dykes is going to be for nights like tonight. And I know he's not a very prolific goal scorer. I know his goal scoring record for Scotland is pretty abysmal. I think he's still in single digits, but he's got like 40-something caps. But what he does, other than putting the ball in the net, is ideal for nights like tonight, because from early on, Johnny, it just felt like Scotland were just punting it up there. It was just a case of just get it forward. I think in the first couple of minutes, if I remember right, there was a long ball that Germany played over the top, and it got flagged offside. It was Florian Wirtz was in, and Angus Gunn saves it with his face, but it was flagged for offside. But right away, that was only like a minute and a half into the game, and instantly from that point, I was like, "Oh, this could be a bit of a rough one." Because see, as I was talking a little about the 10-minute blocks I like to divide, and if you get through that first 10 minutes and they've not really made any chances, but you're 90 seconds into the game and already they've made a chance, albeit it would have got flagged offside anyway. But I just felt like, oh, we're in for a long night here. And then, then after that, it seemed like every time we were going forward, we were knocking up to Che Adams, who just was not having any luck at all. Remember, he's not a very tall striker, Che Adams. I know he's got a wee bit of movement in him, but he was doing it all up there by himself. Ryan Christie, who I understand why Christie started. I even had him in my predicted lineup. I totally understood why he went for that. Because I know a lot of people were calling it for Billy Gilmore instead. I know Ali McCoy said that on the build-up, saying that, I would thought Gilmore would have got a start. But Christie's obviously got that energy, so you think, well, Christie will get up and support Che Adams. But we couldn't get the ball to stick up there at all. And it was just every time we came forward, they literally just swept it up, and it just came right back to us. And it was just wave after wave of white shirts coming into our half. Tony Kroos, at his age, still controlling the game. And I say within 10 minutes, I think it was just as it touched 10 minutes on the clock, that's when Florian Wirtz scored. And you just knew then, Johnny, it's going to be a long, long, painful night.
I mean, you say about getting the ball up to Che Adams and that, but I was watching, and maybe I'm wrong, because I was watching it, but I wasn't 100% focused on it, if you like, and it barely seemed that we hardly got anywhere near the penalty box that first 45 minutes at all. I just thought, this is absolute dire. It's as bad a Scotland performance I can remember, if I'm being honest, that first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, let everybody know, I missed the first 20 minutes, which was probably the best 20 minutes and of the second half. And Germany scored just as I came back through and sat down. And I thought, maybe I shouldn't have come back through, because I was busy getting ready to go away for work tomorrow. And the time I was packing my case and wanted to come back through, I thought, fuck it hell. Cool. But there you go.
Yeah. It was,
but I just don't think, as far as an attacking force in that first half, I don't think we barely scratched at a penalty area, and never mind threatened it,
Yeah, well, there's something Andy Logan was saying. I know that it got highlighted on the commentary by Ali quite early on, and he was actually right. For as much as I know Ali McCoy's can grate on a lot of people, he was actually right in his observation. There was one attack in particular in that first 10 minutes where Ralston was initially in the early part of the game. Ralston was obviously told to push forward, but it was leaving us so exposed down that side because Germany were attacking down that side a lot with Musiala and Florian Wirtz was going into that channel as well. But there was one where we came forward, obviously lost the ball, and they just again launched it up down that side, and he was tracking back way off the pace, trying to track back and gave it a cover. But let's talk about Ralston because obviously I am chuffed that he is there. I mean, fair play that he's made it to the squad, but tonight obviously he did get the start. Oh, it's not exactly the performance he would have wanted in there. I said on Monday night, I think he has to start because we're going to have to rely on balls into the box, but it just felt like we didn't seem to want to exploit the wide areas at all going forward. So I felt like, well, Ralston did have the best of times defensively, and to be fair, nobody in the Scotland backline had a good time defensively. We didn't utilise anything going forward and on the left side as well, because one of the things that we are good at is especially going down the left side. We saw it in the qualifiers, Johnny, where Tierney and Robertson do that thing where they'll alternate, where Tierney will go forward. Well, aye, and we didn't even try that at all. It just seemed like such a... I mean, I know I hate to use the pun, obviously using the word brave, Scotland the brave now, but it felt like there was no bravery in that team. It was like the way we were set out, everything was very much just attack down the middle, just try and pass it through the middle, which Germany were just dealing with everything. And if we were going down the wings, it was like long balls up to the corner. And it's like, nobody's going to catch that at all. It was just like aimless. And yeah, it's just like, obviously now going into the Switzerland game, again, you've got to try and look at it from a point of view, right? It was Germany. We can't escape the fact that we were playing the best team. But even if we play like that against Switzerland, they will rip us apart. We have to have a much more cohesive plan, regardless of tonight, who we were playing, the stature of the team we were playing. If we put in a performance like that on Wednesday night, we will probably be the first team officially eliminated, because if we've got no points after two games,
yeah.
Goal difference being what it is, we will be the first ones on the plane home, essentially.
Oh, there's no two ways about that. Yeah. And go back to Ralston, I thought, well, as I said, I was watching the game, it was on more in the background, but Ralston, he didn't get the opportunities to be able to put in the good crosses. I was watching Liam the other night there on Wednesday, brilliant show, by the way, Liam and Russell. But they were talking how he's a good crosser of a ball, but he's also good, and I don't think he gets enough credit for it. He's also very, very good at playing the through ball, which obviously he wasn't going to get the opportunity to do tonight, not against that team and that performance we had. But there was, even to sum up the night, if you like, he had a really good tackle, made a brilliant tackle, but the way things ricocheted about, ball ended up, and this is the one where they got thought they had the penalty when they done the first.
Yeah, the one with Ryan Christie bundled them over. Yep,
that's right, and it came from that. What was initially a brilliant tackle from Ralston, full-blooded, getting into it, like what we're used to seeing him at Celtic when he does get an opportunity to play for us.
Yep.
And but just the way things it was almost like a pinball. The way I can't even figure out how it happened, but it was like Ralston went at the tackle, won the ball, hit the German lad, came back up for Ralston, hit the German lad again, stuck it in the middle. Then we had the penalty or non-penalty, or the bar check and all the rest of it. So that's kind of what night it was. But anything that looked like it was going to go good, all of a sudden went bad.
Yep,
and that's just the way it went throughout the game.
I had that similar feeling. See, it was so bad that when they did overturn it to a free kick, I just felt like they're just going to step up here and ping this free kick right in the top corner. That's generally what I felt. I went, it won't even make a difference. They'll just ping it right in the top corner. Of course, they did score from that, but they did get a penalty in the end. So, of course. Ryan Porteous. Now, one of the things that I was like, I know Ryan Porteous was a name that was always linked with Celtic at times when he played up here. His name would come up every window. He was always one of these ones again. A bit like when Scott McKenna played up here as well. Again, there always seems to be, because again, we do need Scottish players in our squad for these whole UEFA registrations and stuff like that. But I remember Ryan Porteous' name come up a few times, and one of the things I always said about Porteous was he's too rash in the tackle. He was always really bad at giving away a penalty, particularly against Rangers. I always remember he used to do that a lot against Rangers. And he was always bad for a red card. And tonight, a double whammy. He gave away a penalty and he got a red card. And I'm talking earlier on about what it was like watching Celtic in Europe. That is a trope of Celtic in Europe. You get goals, quick fire goals conceded, giving away penalties, and getting red cards into the equation. I understand why Porteous did it, because I think Gundogan had pretty much a tap in. The way the ball ricocheted back out. I mean, Gunn initially has made a good save from Musiala's header. It's obviously loose in the middle of the box, and it's rolling out to Gundogan, who's just going to fire it into the net from that point. Porteous has to go for it. He's obviously went in. He's caught the boy. As soon as you see the replay and when it's slowed down, I know there's a whole argument about VAR. When it's slowed down, it can look a lot worse. He catches him pretty badly. There's the cheek of it from Porteous as well to then lie there holding his ankle like as well. You knew what was coming, and yeah, obviously he just showed exactly. It's quite cool because I heard stories as well, and I think they even said it in the commentary. The boy himself says, "Oh, I've definitely mellowed," because he admits himself he was a bit too rash, but I don't know about that, Ryan. I think you were a bit rash there. But again, to caveat it, I do understand why he's had to go for it the way he did. But in hindsight, should he have just let Gundogan score and we could have kept 11 men on the park? It was a big risk he took and it didn't pay off, Johnny.
Yeah, it was definitely a rash challenge. That's true. I mean, when you see it in real time getting played, you didn't really see the tackle as such the way it was. You get this in football, two players going into the ball. But when you've seen it on the replay, not even on the slow-mo, I just looked at it and thought, he's gone. You're not staying on in European football making that kind of tackle. Definitely. When you've seen the way that left foot kick, you just thought that he's, as Graham Tyrrell said, shocking of a tackle. Yeah, there's last-ditch tackles and there's last-ditch tackles. And that was just, I mean, if that had been against us, against a Celtic player, we'd have been going apeshit. And no, I don't think anybody has any complaints about the fact that he got sent off for that. Definitely straight red.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that was right on half time as well. Again, another great trope of say from watching Celtic in Europe, conceding goals right on half time or something bad happening. And we saw it against Feyenoord last season in the Champions League. You're just getting up to half time. I mean, at 2-0, it was still going to be hard for Scotland, but at least if you get in there with 11 men still on the park and maybe regroup. But yeah, it was pretty much just damage limitation after that. And then, Füllkrug comes on, scores a good goal in the second half. He's only on the park about 90 seconds and he scores that great goal. And, but yeah, we did obviously get one back, but I did find it funny how only we, Scotland, could celebrate as madly as we did by making it 4-1 with minutes to go from an own goal. And I was like, fair play, at least they're enjoying themselves. But yeah, obviously Germany weren't finished with us yet. They still had time to go to the park and then be trying to make it 5-1. But as I say, now we're in a point where the thing that has changed really is the idea of maybe going through with 3 points now is definitely off the table. And the mission is quite simply this: if Scotland want to make history and still be in this tournament after the group stages, it's got to be 4 points or nothing at the very, very minimum here, because they can't afford any slips now. Because I say, Johnny, if they lose to Switzerland on Wednesday night, we may as well just get the passports out now, because we're definitely going home. There's no way, even if we would beat Hungary in the last game, we'd have to beat them by about 7 or 8 goals, and that certainly isn't happening. So this is the one they're going to have to target. So Porteous is going to be suspended now because obviously he got a red card. We saw Grant Hanley come on. The other options in the team will be Liam Cooper. He's in the team as well. Ross McCrory, isn't it? I know he's a right back and centre back, so he's obviously an option as well. I mean, Hanley for me, I know he came on and he's obviously 34, 35 years old now and he is a bit slow, but I don't know. Does Liam Cooper come in for Porteous, or do you think he'll give it to Hanley, seeing as he chose to bring him on? I think that was a clue that Stevie Clark trusts him more. How would you patch up that one for Switzerland?
I think the fact he brought on Hanley would probably indicate that he's probably already planning ahead for that and getting him some some time in those legs. But Tierney playing in there. To be honest with you, I think he will go with Hanley.
Yeah.
Purely because he did. Yeah, tonight you could say he put Hanley in there because he had no other options. So he's really got not too many more options for Wednesday night. So you probably play Hanley in there at centre half.
Yeah. The thing as well, in terms of other things he could do in the team, this is where obviously Stevie Clarke, when you look at the job he's done with Scotland, you can't, debate that he's been a success, because given what he was up against in the last 20 years for Scotland, given the lack of tournaments we've qualified for, to have now qualified for 2 tournaments, you can't argue with that. But one of his biggest feelings is, and this is the reason why when his name comes up, when we've talked about managers for Celtic in particular, people have said that he wouldn't be a good fit for Celtic because he's too defensive-minded, he's too conservative. But now it's literally, you've got 2 games now to get out of this, so you've got to start taking some chances. And what I'm worried about is he'll be too like stubborn and stick to his guns and stick to what he knows, because this could be the chance for like Tommy Conway, who is this X factor that we don't know much about. He's been brought in, basically flown in essentially at the 11th hour because of the injury to Lyndon Dykes and to Ben Doak. And it's like, look, it's win or bust now, essentially. So this could be this is where, I can remember and I know that it's light years apart in terms of the ability of the players, right? But I can remember in 98, France 98, when a young Michael Owen got thrown on for England and scored a goal against Romania, first of all, in the group stage, but then he started against Argentina in the knockout stage, scored a wonder goal. Yeah. And it was like, he was only 18 years old, he was a youngster. I know he'd broke through at Liverpool, but he was thrown in there. Sometimes it's these things, throwing players in there, that this can be like the defining moment of their career. I say most people, we don't know how good Tommy Conway is, but again, it's like Steve Clarke's going to have to look at it. Che Adams' performance tonight, and again, the service wasn't great to him. Could he look at maybe bringing in Billy Gilmore and maybe sacrifice Ryan Christie, because Gilmore will hold on to the ball more? Because one thing that we didn't do well tonight was obviously ball retention. And if we do that against Switzerland, they're going to end up beating us as well. So it's like, maybe he needs to look at stuff like that. Maybe, as I say, an unknown quantity like Conway up front could be something that this could be like this defining moment. He just busts onto the scene. But yeah, like Gilmore, for instance, if he came in for Christie, and we can hold on to the ball better. Because I think back to the last Euros, Johnny, and that England game, the middle game, Gilmore was fantastic that night. And one of the reasons why is him, McGregor and McGinn in the middle were just great at holding on to the ball. And it was like, we're going to need that. We're going to have to, make sure we don't give away any stupid passes and put ourselves in any danger. It's going to be hard enough for us. But if we're inviting the trouble onto us, so maybe it's something like Gilmore could be the play here, and I say maybe an unknown quantity up front like Conway could be an option as well.
Yeah, because an unknown quantity to us is, as supporters, is an unknown quantity to the opposition as well.
Yep.
And the young guy, I don't know how old this Conway is, but I believe he's being linked with both Celtic and Rangers. We're going to have this tug of war, apparently.
One of those ones, yep.
Yeah, which we have every year with somebody over somebody. You might just go out there and play with absolutely no fear. And if you said, take Christie out the way, put Gilmore in, if McGregor and McGinn can play to anything like the levels that we know they can do, might just make a bit of a difference. And the guy up front playing, I'm assuming he's a young guy.
Yeah, he was playing for the under-21s when he got told. He scored a goal against Turkey for the under-21s, and it was in the dressing room after it. He was told that, by the way, you've been called up to the full national squad. So it was literally, that's how it went for him.
It could just be one of these moments when, he will go there and say, right, play with no fear, I'm going to go out there. And it's that, I've been given the opportunity and I'm going to grasp the nettle, I'm going to go for it. He will need the help and the support of the rest of the team, obviously, in order to do that. I.e., get the fucking ball up to him,
yeah,
get the ball into that position. And sometimes it doesn't matter how you put the ball in, as it was shown tonight. Threw the ball in, we get a lucky break, the header, and then deflected in. Because, it hadn't took the deflection, it was never going anywhere. I think it was more of a threat to my living room than it would have been to the goal. So, you just never know. Get the ball. If you don't throw it in, you ain't got a chance.
Yeah.
So
no, that causes a bit of chaos in there.
And
that's it. They're going to have to be brave.
Caution to the wind on Wednesday night, Phil. Do they just say, "Fuck it, let's go for it"?
Aye, that's it. I say the word brave, and I say, hey, I hate to use it because obviously Scotland are brave, but it's true. Scotland are going to have to be brave. Steve Clarke's going to have to let them just take the shackles off, because there's going to come a point in this Switzerland game where it's going to be like we need to basically find our bollocks here essentially and get a goal, because it's going to be another tough game. So if obviously you don't want it. Obviously, we can still qualify by maybe getting a point against Switzerland, but then you're relying on winning against Hungary. You'd much rather do it the other way round. It sets you up better for the Hungary game, because we did it, and obviously in the last tournament, we started off by losing to the Czech Republic with, of course, a goal for the halfway line, because that's what Scotland would do. They would concede a goal for the halfway line. But then you go and get this unexpected point against England, but it sets you up for the last game, but you need to win the last game against Croatia. But it was at Hampden, so again, going into that, you're like, oh, we've got the home advantage. But again, we just totally didn't show up there. And what you don't want is, let's say they do get a point against Switzerland, and then that will get them the confidence up, and you'll get that similar vibe to 3 years ago. And then you just turn up and Hungary just brushes aside without even breaking a sweat. So you'd much rather, let's get the points on the board, particularly if Hungary and Switzerland could draw tomorrow. That would at least set us up nicely, because you don't want one of them to pull 3 points in front already, so we need to keep them within touching distance.
Because if you look at it now, because it's Switzerland, Hungary tomorrow, let's say 0-0 draw.
Yeah, okay.
Best case scenario, 0-0 draw. All right. So then we beat Switzerland on Wednesday night.
Wednesday
gives us 3 points. Switzerland are on 1 point.
One.
But
that means Hungary will be playing Germany on the same night. So what happens in that game as well? That'd be interesting.
Yeah. So then you've also got Switzerland going to play Germany in their last game, and we're going to play Hungary in our last game. And if we have that scenario that I've just said, we're sitting on 3 points. Switzerland are sitting on 1 point.
We're a game against Germany.
1 point, go and play Germany.
Yeah,
that's what we want.
Yeah, ideally, is if we can be
something of that.
Yeah,
without
a doubt. But I said that earlier on the show. I said it'd be very typical of Scotland to somehow get the 4 points, which would be the target, and somehow still not qualify, because that's just what it's like to be Scottish. It just wouldn't even surprise you at this point.
Because you know how we talk about Rangers winning all these imaginary cups?
Yes.
Scotland have won the glorious failure cup at least 5 or 6 times. At least.
Oh, God, yeah.
But we are the champions at glorious failure.
Snatching defeat.
Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
That's that, yes.
Nobody does it quite like us, Jocks. That's for sure.
Oh, I know. But as I said to Johnny before we came on, I said we'll try and do between half an hour and 45 minutes. We'll just go up to 40 minutes. Obviously, there isn't much positives to talk about tonight in terms of the performance, but everybody just needs to remember that perspective is key here. And while it hurts to now, until the dust settles over the next few days after that performance, we're still very much in it. We've got the free hit out the way. We've played the hardest team out of the group. They are the host nation. They are one of the teams that is going to go on probably to the very, very deep into the tournament. They are 4-time world champions, 3-time European champions. So, it's not a wee team we're playing here. It's obviously Germany. So we've got out of the way. It's done now. Stevie Clarke will be telling the players, nothing we can change about it. We just need to concentrate now. Forget goal difference. Goal difference is now not a factor. It is done. It's all about points now. Points will be the thing that will get us through. So 4 points is still the target. We've got Switzerland up next on Wednesday. So it's all guns blazing towards that. And we will we'll head off now for this shorter edition of P.M.P. International P.M.P. As I say, I promised at the start of the week I would do a P.M.P. for the game, regardless of the result. And still just had to do it. It's all part and parcel of the job. But we'll be back. There's not be any shows over the weekend. There might be a Blether. I don't know. It's up to Connor now. He hosts that. I don't know if he'll be doing a Blether. But there is plans. I said earlier on, in terms of next week, we could have a very similar week with shows every single night again, Monday through Friday, because again, we're doing the Euros content. So I'm planning on, I'll probably jump on Monday night and do a preview for the Switzerland game, Tuesday, we'll have the Tuesday ticket. Wednesday will be, and there's a chance there's going to be 2 shows on Wednesday. You're going to get 6 shows in 5 nights as it stands right now on the Bhoycie Bus next week. Yeah, because Wednesday night we're going to have another episode of Under the Bonnet. That is the new slot for that. So there's going to be that early evening on Wednesday. I won't tell you who's going to be the guest on that one. I know who it is, but I'll let you can wait and see who it's going to be. And then later in the night, there's going to have to be a P.M.P for the Switzerland game. So I'll have to come on and do that. And Thursday night will be the forum. And then Friday night, I will use that night to do the preview for the Hungary game. Because, we were playing Hungary on Sunday. So, busy week coming up on the old bus again next week. But, a break for the weekend anyway. Johnny, thanks for jumping on at this late time anyway. And obviously it's been a painful result, but we've tried our best to. There wasn't many positives to look at. It was more a case of what really can we look at now going forward for Scotland. And, just need to dust himself off and go again. That's all they can do now.
All I can say is I'm glad I'm going away to Portland tomorrow and I can get away. I won't have anybody down here giving me a hard time about how bad.
The Copa America's going on over in the USA. They're hosting the Copa America, so you're heading from this continent to go over to America where there's another tournament going on. So Carter Vickers and Alistair Johnson are playing in it. They're Canada and the USA are obviously playing in the tournament. So keep your eye out for them. See how they get on.
For them, yeah,
indeed.
Okay.
But guys, we will head off now. Enjoy the rest of your night, whatever you're doing. Enjoy the weekend. Say don't worry too much about Scotland. This is all part and parcel of being a Scotland fan. I say, well, surely by the time Tuesday and Wednesday comes on, we'll all be ready to go again. It'll be that same old bravado, like the scene in Braveheart where they're all ready to fight the English. They're all absolutely up for it. That'll be it. We'll like that come Tuesday, Wednesday when that game's on the horizon. So, I'm sure we'll be full of bravado then. But, folks, we will catch you later. And, see you on the next one.